On a cold November morning in 1980, during the third day of restoration work at Venice's San Marco Square, time seemed to stand still. Italian construction worker Giuseppe Moretti was delivering what he thought would be his final hammer blow of the morning when the hollow sound echoing from beneath the ancient stones froze him in place. This wasn't just any ordinary cavity. Beneath the 700-year-old historic pavement lay a massive void that no one knew existed. Giuseppe set his hammer aside and listened carefully. Silence, then the echo of footsteps, but there was no one around. At that moment, only one thought crossed Giuseppe's mind. This discovery could change not just Venice's history, but the entire world's understanding of the past. What he didn't know was that this discovery would also become the biggest mistake of his life. This story is based on real events found in the secret journals of archaeologist Dr. Elena Rossi, hidden for 25 years. The secrets lying beneath Venice, the Vatican's covert intervention, and one woman's sacrifice for the truth. Dr. Elena Rossi was sipping her morning coffee in her laboratory when the phone rang that November morning. At 34, Elena was already the youngest archaeology professor at the University of Venice and had dozens of significant discoveries to her name. But the voice on the other end of the line was about to launch her into the greatest adventure of her life. "Professor Rossi, you need to come to San Marco immediately. There's been a discovery and this is something big." Before Elena could even ask who was calling, the line went dead. As she grabbed her coat and stepped outside, something felt different in Venice's familiar, misty atmosphere. It was as if the city itself knew about this discovery, appearing quieter, more mysterious than usual. When she arrived at San Marco Square, she noticed other figures besides the usual restoration workers. Men in suits were surveying the area like secret agents. Giuseppe rushed over when he saw Elena approaching. "Professor, this is very strange. There's a massive void beneath the pavement, but the strangest part is, it's as if someone was expecting us. We can hear sounds coming from inside." Elena tried to calm Giuseppe as she approached the discovery site. When she peered down through the crack in the pavement, the sight left her breathless. Below stretched a network of perfectly preserved stone-paved tunnels, but these tunnels didn't resemble any Byzantine architecture she knew. "Giuseppe, do you know how deep these tunnels go?" "No, Professor, but from the sound echoes, we can tell they're very deep. And there's something else." Giuseppe led Elena to the tunnel entrance. There, among the freshly excavated earth, a metal fragment was glinting. When Elena carefully picked up the piece, she found herself holding a seal. The symbols on it weren't Latin, weren't Byzantine. It was writing she had never seen before. At that moment, a voice came from behind Elena. "Dr. Rossi, please follow me." She turned to see a middle-aged man in a black suit standing there. His eyes held both respect and warning. "I am Monsignor Francesco Di Marco from the Vatican Department of Cultural Heritage. We need to discuss this discovery." Elena followed Monsignor Di Marco into a small church near San Marco. The interior was completely empty, lit only by candlelight. After gesturing for Elena to sit, the Monsignor began to speak. "Dr. Rossi, what you've found here is not just an archaeological discovery. This is a secret the Vatican has protected for 700 years, and now you are the guardian of this secret." Elena listened in bewilderment. "What do you mean? These are just old tunnels." "No, doctor. These tunnels are evidence of an event that occurred in Venice in the 13th century. During that period, mysterious strangers came to the city. These strangers were from no known civilization, and they built these tunnels." The Monsignor pulled an ancient parchment from his pocket. The drawings on it were identical to the seal Elena had found. In 1284, Pope Martin IV wrote a letter. In this letter he mentioned strange reports from Venice, beings living beneath the city, advanced technologies and agreements they made with humans. Elena tried to grasp the situation. So these tunnels are remnants of where those beings lived, and the Vatican has been working for 700 years to protect them, because if this truth comes to light, humanity's understanding of history would completely change. The Monsignor leaned toward Elena. Dr. Rossi, I'm going to make you an offer. If you keep this discovery secret, the Vatican will provide you with unlimited research opportunities. But if you try to expose this secret— He didn't finish the sentence, but the threat was clear. When Elena returned home that night, her mind was in turmoil. She had made the biggest discovery of her career, but couldn't share it with anyone. In her journal notes that night, she wrote, "Today I made a discovery that could change human history, but this discovery could also be a curse for me. The Vatican's offer is tempting, but my conscience isn't at peace. Don't people have the right to know the truth?" The next day, Elena had made her decision. She would accept the Vatican's offer, but secretly continue her research. When she met with Monsignor Di Marco, she officially agreed to keep the project secret. "A very wise decision, Dr. Rossi. We'll arrange a special laboratory for you. There, you can examine all the findings from these tunnels." But Elena's real plan was different. She decided to secretly descend into the tunnels with Giuseppe at midnight. The first descent was made on the night of November 15th, 1980, when Elena and Giuseppe descended into the depths of the tunnels with their flashlights. The sight they encountered was breathtaking. The tunnels weren't just built for transportation. This was literally an underground city. On the walls were plates made of a type of metal they had never seen before. The writing on these plates didn't resemble any language Elena knew, but the most surprising part was that the tunnels were illuminated with electricity. "Giuseppe, how is this possible? There was no electricity in the 13th century. "I don't know, Professor, but these lights are working, and they look like they were just installed." As Elena approached to examine one of the wall plates, the light suddenly went out. In the darkness, footsteps could be heard from a distance. Both clung to each other in fear. "Who's there?" Elena called out. No answer came, but the footsteps were approaching. When Elena tried to turn on her flashlight, she found it was broken. Giuseppe's flashlight wasn't working either. At that moment, a voice came from the darkness. It was speaking Italian, but in a very old dialect. "Why have you come here? This place is not safe for you." Elena gathered her courage and replied, "We are archaeologists. We research the past. The past sometimes changes the future, young woman, and you have discovered things you are not ready to change." Suddenly the lights came back on, but there was no one around. Elena and Giuseppe looked at each other and quickly exited the tunnels. After that night, Elena knew everything had changed. While continuing her research in the secret laboratory provided by the Vatican, she also studied the evidence she had found in the tunnels. Medical tests gave surprising results. The metal plates on the walls didn't resemble any known element. Carbon dating tests showed contradictory results, sometimes 700 years old, sometimes 7,000 years old. Monsignor Di Marco regularly visited Elena's laboratory. Each time, he would check Elena's discoveries and take away evidence he deemed dangerous. "Dr. Rossi, don't go too far with these investigations. Some truths can be harmful to humanity." But Elena was determined, especially the voice she had heard in the tunnels intrigued her. She was determined to find the owner of that voice. In her research, she accessed 13th century Vatican archives. There, she found Pope Martin IV's encrypted letters. These letters spoke of angels in Venice, but these angels weren't angels in the traditional sense. One of the letters read, "The beings in Venice possess a science far more advanced than ours. They use time and space in ways we cannot understand, but the most concerning part is their agreements with humans. These agreements could create danger for Christianity in the future. After reading these letters, Elena understood the truth. The beings in the tunnels were still there, and the Vatican knew it. December 20th, 1980 was the most important night of Elena's life. She decided to descend into the tunnels one last time with Giuseppe. This time, not just to learn the truth, but to speak with that mysterious voice. When they reached the deepest point of the tunnels, they discovered a door. This door was made with completely different technology from other tunnel sections. On it were those strange symbols Elena had seen before. As Elena approached the door, it opened by itself. A soft light came from inside. When they dared to enter, the sight they encountered was beyond their imagination. Inside was a huge room. In the center of the room stood a crystal platform. On the platform were devices Elena had never seen before, but the most surprising part was the figure standing in a corner of the room. It was a tall being with very pale skin and almost transparent eyes. It resembled a human, but was also very different. When it saw Elena, it smiled. "Dr. Elena Rossi, we have been waiting for you," Elena asked in amazement. "You know me?" "Of course. We have been following your research, and we think it's time to speak with you." The being approached Elena. "My name is Luminor. I am one of the last representatives who have been living in this city for 700 years. Representatives? Who are you? We are members of a civilization that came to this planet long ago. Our purpose was to live in peace with humanity, but over time, we realized this wasn't possible." Luminor led Elena to the crystal platform. With the devices on the platform, he began showing holograms of the past. In the 13th century, an agreement was made between our civilization and humans. We would share our knowledge, and they would protect us. But the agreement was broken. In the holograms, Elena saw wars between humans and Luminor's race, very advanced technologies, energy weapons, and finally a peace treaty. Our civilization withdrew. Only a few representatives remained here. The Vatican knew of our existence and protected us, because our knowledge was very valuable to them. Elena asked curiously, "What kind of knowledge?" "Time travel, dimensional jumping, mind control, knowledge that humanity is not yet ready for." After her conversation with Luminor, Elena found herself in a deep dilemma. On one hand, she thought humanity had the right to learn this information. On the other hand, she understood how dangerous this knowledge could be in the wrong hands. When she and Giuseppe returned to the laboratory, Monsignor Di Marco was waiting for them. There was a worried expression on his face. "Dr. Rossi, I know where you went tonight, and now you need to end this research." Elena replied courageously, "Monsignor, people have the right to know the truth. Some truths are harmful to humanity, Doctor. Our 700 years of experience shows this." The Monsignor handed Elena a file. Inside were photographs of other researchers who had made such discoveries in the past. All their outcomes were the same. They had either committed suicide or died in mysterious accidents. "Is this a threat?" Elena asked. "No, it's a warning. Dr. Rossi, I'm going to make you one last offer. Stop this research and take a high position at the Vatican." Or, the Monsignor didn't finish his sentence, but Elena understood the message. That night, Elena wrote in her journal, "Now I know the truth, but this truth is destroying me. Humanity knows only a small part of its own history. The rest is hidden by powerful organizations. What should I do? Should I stay silent and live safely, or should I expose the truth and risk my life?" After days of thinking, Elena made her decision. She would expose the truth, but she would do it wisely. She met with Luminor once more and made a plan. Luminor, if I expose this information, what will it mean for your civilization? Dr. Rossi, our civilization is already ready to say goodbye. We are tired of hiding, but how this information is shared is important. Elena and Luminor developed a plan. The information would be gradually revealed, and the full truth would be revealed after humanity was prepared, but their plans were discovered by the Vatican. On January 15, 1981, Elena was attacked while working in her laboratory. Giuseppe lost his life trying to save Elena. Elena was taken to the hospital with serious injuries, but worse still, all her research notes and evidence had disappeared. While lying in the hospital, Monsignor Di Marco visited her. Dr. Rossi, this incident is so tragic, but now you understand, don't you? This knowledge is too dangerous. Elena replied in a weak voice, "This war isn't over yet, but it's over for you, Doctor. Tomorrow will give you a new identity. You'll leave Venice and start a new life. Of course, you'll never speak about these matters." Elena was forced to accept the Monsignor's offer, but secretly she had saved small notes. She hid these notes in different places for someone to find in the future. From 1981 to 2005, Elena lived in Switzerland with a different identity, but she never forgot the truth. In her journals, she wrote in detail about her discovery in Venice and her conversations with Luminor. In 2005, before Elena died of cancer, she wanted to leave her journals to someone trustworthy. She told her former student Marco Benedetti to find the bag hidden in an antique shop in Venice. When Marco found the bag and read the journals inside, he was shocked. Everything Elena had written was incredible, but also logical. Marco immediately went to Venice and tried to find the tunnels, but San Marco Square had now been completely restored. The tunnel entrance was tightly sealed. Still, Marco tried to communicate with Luminor by following Elena's notes, and he succeeded since 2005. Marco has been continuing the work Elena started, but he's being very careful. He knows the Vatican is still monitoring this matter. According to Luminor, their civilization is now ready to return, but this depends on humanity being ready. Perhaps future generations will answer the question, is humanity ready to learn the true version of its own history? Elena Rossi's brave discovery wasn't just an archaeological find. This was a revelation that questioned humanity's place in the universe and rewrote history. The tunnels still hidden beneath Venice may one day be reopened. Then we'll get the return on everything Elena sacrificed. But for now, the truth is still there, beneath San Marco, silently continuing to wait, and Luminor's words still echo in our ears. Some truths reveal themselves when we're ready to learn them. Elena Rossi's story is the story of a woman who courageously pursued the truth, but it's also the story of how powerful organizations shape humanity's future. The lesson to be learned from this story is this: truth is always there, but seeing it requires courage. Like Elena, from Classified Hidden Histories, that's all for this week. Don't forget to subscribe for our future stories.